Hello, everyone.
Hello, it's Miracle Mom and Michael.
We're back. So today's episode, I have no plan.
Well, sometimes that's a good thing.
Yep. It's like, I was, since we're doing each recording session, we do 6 topics or 6 episodes per recording session. I got to the bottom of my list. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to pick a 6th topic. Let's just see what happens. But it's good to be back.
So, yeah, it is good to be back.
For however long this lasts.
Well, 10 minutes? Oh, you mean new format.
Yeah. It's funny, 10 minutes, I forgot to hit start on the timer, so I just hit start on my timer. All right, so we now have 9 minutes and 53 seconds left, give or take. So how are you doing, Mom? You're alive?
I am. I'm still alive, breathing in and out. God says it's a good thing.
Every day is a new miracle.
For me.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, if you could pick one topic in the world today, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Turkey.
Oh.
Not the bird.
Oh, okay. I was going to say tryptophan really puts me to sleep.
I brought that up intentionally because I've been thinking a lot about your project. And I've had a lot of thoughts about, okay, we already know that it's God has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, now that I know, so much more about your project, I started thinking, well, why would it be important at this time, in this moment in history, for God to bring a truth about the first Christian nation into the eyes of the world again? In other words, what's God pointing us to? And I thought, well, look at Turkey. What's going on in Turkey? Who's the leader of Turkey? What actions is he taking? And doesn't Armenia border Turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I thought, what's going on here? What is God going to say or trying to tell us? Is it a warning? Is it just, more revelation in terms of a worldview? I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts around that. Why do it now?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's more the purpose. What's the purpose of this? It's not just to make a new Hollywood movie. We all know that.
Yep.
And then, I thought, is the country of Armenia in danger of a repeat genocide?
Well, there is, where do I go?
Well, look what Erdogan just did with Hagia Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he just did.
Yeah, so that's where I thought you were going with this.
That is where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah, actually, I actually have some regrets because I was in Istanbul last summer around this time.
Yeah, I know. I was horrified.
That I was going.
I was horrified.
I
was just horrified.
Well,
what he did.
So we went there, and in fact, the villain in my story, Talat Pasha, his house is across the street from the Hagia Sophia.
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We walked there, and here's the house, and there's the Hagia Sophia, and then there's another mosque literally right across from the Hagia Sophia. It's this kind of this tourist attraction center of, I guess it's like the main tourist attraction there, and up till recently, the Hagia Sophia was a museum, Anybody could go
Yeah.
in,
Right.
and
Right.
but I was wearing shorts, and
Oh.
you're not like the one mosque across from the Hagia Sophia. We were thinking of going into it. I'm terrible. I can't remember the name of that mosque, but there's a sign out saying, you can't wear shorts inside,
Uh-huh.
or you have to wear, they may give you something like something to put on or whatever. And I was like, well, no, I don't need to go in. There's plenty of other things to see, and there were plenty of other things to see, but we ended up not even going in the Hagia Sophia, and I don't know if we couldn't wear shorts in there either. And so I regret not going in. I mean, I kick myself. Speaking of disappointments and regrets,
Yeah.
but so that was on my radar when all that was going down, and that the leader of Turkey, Erdogan, is he believes, you know, it's hard to say what he really believes, but a person by their actions, right? Their actions
Yeah.
speak louder than words, and so he's a political animal. I don't know that he's religious at all, but because he rules a nation full of very religious, there's religious zealots in just about every country, and so whether he's caving to political pressure or thinks that it gives him more power or both.
Well, he's a radical Islamist.
Well, yeah, I mean, he thinks he's the incarnate, the caliph. Like that's the.
Well, he wants to revive the Ottoman Empire and all that crap.
Exactly, and in my research early on, I realized that the Sultan was how the Catholic Church has the Pope, right? There's
Right.
this one man who speaks from God, basically, and whatever the Pope says is God's voice, and all the good Catholics should obey or listen and heed his word. Well, that's what the Sultan was for Islam, for the Muslim nations, for all Muslim nations, not just Turkey, but around the world. And so the Sultan, I guess, is called the Caliph. And have you heard of the Caliphate? The Caliphate is a holy war, and so the very last order from the very last Sultan, until he was deposed, was holy war. A holy war against the Christians, and that was, and so that was an order, basically an order from the man of God, according to Muslims, that kill the apostates or kill the infidels, those who are not followers of Islam. And what I realized was that in the middle of my story is when the Sultan is deposed. Basically, the guys who took over the Ottoman Empire in 1908, they were called the Young Turks, and they were more of an ambitious political faction that took over the government, and they deposed the Sultan, basically saying, you're a figurehead, kind of like the King of England or the Queen of England is just a figurehead, and then that was the last Sultan. And so that caliphate, the order of the caliph, the last order still stands. Like, it can't be rescinded because there's no longer a sultan to rescind it. And so that holy war is what's been going on for the last 100 years. It was 100 plus years. And so now here's Erdogan, and I don't know that he follows that logic the way I've been following it, but every leader of one of the big powers, whether it's a power, whether you're the head of a country or the head of a religious organization, they believe they're appointed by God and that they're doing God's will. And he believes that the Ottoman Empire is going to take over the world. And I mean, that's what the Ottomans believed. And so you ask the question I've been asking myself is, why am I working on this project at this time as the world is going through the things it's going through right now? And one thing that I've, from the beginning of this project, and then more recently with some friendships that I've made with some Armenians, it seems, at least part of that answer, or part of the answer to that question is if the Armenians and the Turks can be reconciled, it's proof to the entire world of God's existence. Right?
Yeah.
There are Turks. There's revival among Turks that are converting to Christianity.
Yeah.
I met a couple of Armenians that their ministry is, their focus is reaching Turks in Turkey, in Istanbul, and there's Christian revival in Turkey, in Turks, among the Turks, and you hear about it in Iran as well. There's revival.
Yeah, right.
We don't hear about it here. Our news media hates Christianity, and so they're not
going to talk about it.
They're not going to report on it. But this project that I'm working on, I think, transcends even the religious. Right? If I'm telling a story that's historically accurate, and the ultimate result of that story is a miracle happened that's irrefutable, I think it'll open more people's eyes and paying attention to this tension between Armenians and Turks. There are Armenians today. There are large factions of Armenians today that grow up and are told by their parents and grandparents, if you ever meet a Turk, kill him. Right? So there are Armenians that believe that, as well as Turks that believe that. And there's another thing going on in Armenia on the other side of Armenia. So when we went to Armenia on my first research trip, so this is before I even went to Turkey, and we visited Kod Virap, the deep pit, basically where Armenia, the event that caused Armenians, the nation, to convert to Christianity. Well, that deep pit is at a monastery at the foot of Mount Ararat, and Mount Ararat is in Turkey. So when I went down into that pit, the GPS on my phone said, "Welcome to Turkey." So it's that close. I was a mile from Turkey, but that's a tangent. On the other side of Turkey, on the eastern border of Turkey, of Armenia, is I think it's Kazakhstan. I'm terrible. I can't remember. But there's another portion of Armenia that's like an island in the middle of that nation. And it's like the Armenians somehow have retained it, but the surrounding nation believes it's theirs. And it's been a war they've been literally in a state of war for 30 years or more. And that violence has escalated, especially, like when you have a pandemic and every country is locking people up or shutting people down, you've got a bunch of people with pent-up rage and pent-up frustration, and a lot of the sectarian violence is exacerbated, and so there's potential war against Armenia from both sides, you might say. Right. So it was a lot of people say it was miraculous that Armenia even exists today, because, for example, there were Assyrians that were massacred in the genocide as well in World War I, and Assyrians don't have a nation. They ended up without any nation. So like the Armenians at least ended up with some land to call Armenia, but it's about 1/10 the territory that they should have gotten. Armenia should be 10 times the size it is, but they got well, I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm expecting through this project that this information and these truths will become more common knowledge as the world turns in the right direction. Anyway, we're over time, Mom. So
surprise.
Yeah, I'm ignoring my timer, but I love you, Mom.
Well, I love you too, and happy birthday.
Oh, and
belated.
Yes, and to you as well. Our birthdays are 5 days apart, so every year we get to do this. All right. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Bye.
Hanging up.
I am.